They made it seamless, and I don't think they get the recognition they deserve.
Anything else? I think we all mimic that. The first day of school is scary for parents, depending on what grade your kid's in. Sometimes it's like, oh, great, it's starting. And other times it's like, oh no, my kindergarten's going away. But it does take a whole village to open a school. So thank all of you and every staff that participated in that. It is appreciated. With that, we'll turn it over to Dr. Freeman for your report.
Do you have her time? Thank you, Madam President. Members of the board, buenas tardes a todos, good evening, everyone. And welcome to Being Better and Stronger Together for the 2024-25 school year. We started the year again, as members have mentioned, with remarkable energy and commitment from our staff. Our students were a little sleepy the first day, but I think they're up to speed now. Parents have been super supportive. All the students arrived at school and got back home safely. The first few days of attendance are always a trial for us, and we only had some minor typical delays to our bus routes, so we're very thankful about that. There are some stressful moments with early release, especially traffic, with everyone getting used to those new routines, but traffic is flowing a lot better now. People are getting into the routine. Thank you to the resilience of our staff who goes out and helps parents with loading and unloading, and the support of our parents to try to make that smooth. We all prioritize safety when it comes to student drop-off and pickup, and so working together helps make that possible. Student enrollment usually builds over the first few weeks of the school year, and I'm happy to report our numbers are up. At the 10-day mark, our enrollment is up just over 350 students compared to the same time last year. That really is more like historically typical growth for us. Most of our academies are up in enrollment, and the most significant increase is at Lakeland Prep, which added 6th grade this year, which explains part of that. We look forward to the trend to continue in the next few weeks and see what happens as our community grows. I'd like to thank the Welcome Center staff. As Member Barnett mentioned, they worked long, hard days to process the typical rush of enrollment and requests that come in the days leading up to the school year. I heard numerous reports of their friendly and patient demeanor despite some long waits, and we appreciate their dedication to our community. Additionally, a huge thank you to the front office staff at all of our schools. They provide excellent customer service. For people who haven't enrolled a student lately, you get your enrollment at the Welcome Center, but you get your placement when you get to the school, and they make sure everybody is logged in the app so that we can communicate with them. And we had a large influx of parents in the first few days, and they handled it with a lot of grace. Energy is high again this year for our annual staff kickoff celebration at the beginning of the program. President Reyes reminded teachers and staff members the important role they play in people's lives. The Palm Valley Church hosted us again free of charge, and the pastor shared that his wife was a principal and he's a former teacher, so he holds a particular place in his heart for public education, and we appreciate their generosity. We introduced the theme song for the school year, Littleton Strong, which this year was composed by Scott Tracy, one of our bus drivers, and then performed on stage by fine art choir students and Miss Lieberman and Mr. Tracy. Each year, the communications teams puts together a video to go with the theme to start the year. And Madam President, if I could, I'd like to share that with everybody here now, and it'll be on our broadcast for people who weren't at the kickoff.
Across the Agua Fria, there's a place that I know where they embrace our kids at hope and watch their dreams grow.
They see all the talents in every single child. They lift them up with their love and watch them all shine. From the first day of kindergarten to my graduation day, teachers have always been there and helped me find my way. They found the light inside of me and encouraged me to dream. We are better together, my treasure heart to set me. Littleton strong, I know I can rise above. Littleton strong, let them lift me with their love. Littleton strong, I know I can touch the sky. Littleton strong, harder together we can fly. There are no exceptions, every child will succeed. So strong and treasure hunters, just stand back and see. Littleton strong, I know I can rise above. Littleton strong, let them lift me with their love. Littleton strong, I know I can touch the sky. Littleton strong, harder together we can fly. Littleton strong. Littleton
All right. Our communication team comes up with fresh ideas every year, and they always put together a great mosaic, and we're really proud of the work they do and want to thank them. Now, there were a few other noteworthy successes from last year we covered in the kickoff, expanding on a list of accolades for district and staff that were earned last year. But Ninja Master Juan Do, our keynote speaker, gave a captivating talk after that. One of the takeaways he shared that matched our theme was the adage, the bigger the setback, the bigger the comeback. I also have heard staff say things like, that is whack, which is something he talked about when they catch people thinking negatively. He had a ton of advice and ideas for leadership and for good transformation, and I think the staff really appreciated the talk. We got feedback because people use their phones to go on and give feedback, and the ratings of staff were extraordinarily high. He shared those with us in a post-conference, and so we look forward to being able to share that with our leaders. We had a fantastic Meet the Teacher night later that evening. Students and families were eager to meet their teachers, visit their classrooms, and teachers made meaningful connections that night. Families had an opportunity to register students for transportation services, to complete free and reduced lunch applications on the laptops provided. Staff from all the departments were available to help answer questions, reassure parents, and parents also had opportunity to join their local PTA. Over at the Quinton STEM Academy, there were free backpacks distributed to students and parents who received guidance on how to get free physicals for their athletics at Lake and Prep. Families filled out passports for learning and turned them in for grand prize drawing. Collier Business Academy they had gently used uniforms available for purchase for just $1 for parents who needed help with that. At the Freeman Fine Arts Academy, registration for performances was already opened, and families enjoyed a delicious meal from food trucks outside the school. The success of the event underscores the strong community spirit at Littleton's academies and our commitment to ensuring every student is prepared for a strong start to the school year. Our communication team also put together a video which highlights all of our district academies that we offer and shared that with the community leaders last week. And if I could hog up more time, can we see that video too? Sure. It's not very long.
Every child should be given many opportunities for success, no exceptions. In the Littleton Elementary School District, we don't just embrace the Kids at Hope philosophy, we live it. From the most up-to-date curriculum and a digital device for every child, to high-tech classrooms and a safe learning environment, every child's growth and success is continually kept in mind. It's why we also became the district of choice, with 9 focus academies in which a child can time travel to their future career. Let's take a look at each one. At Collier Business Academy, all students focus on financial literacy to help them prepare to be successful in business or their personal life. Students at Country Place Leadership Academy practice the 7 habits of highly effective people throughout the year to prepare them to be the leaders of tomorrow. Estrella Vista STEM Academy is the leader in learning about engineering. With hands-on experiences and collaborating with others, they are developing the skills to be tomorrow's engineers.
Oh, say, can you see?
From singing, dancing, drawing, to everything in between, Freeman Fine Arts Academy leads the way in helping each child find the talents inside of them. Lakin Prep Academy leads the way in rigorous learning. With the dual language immersion program to the collaborative learning that takes place, each child has the ability to reach their goals and dreams. At Littleton STEM Academy, students focus on computer-based skills to be the technology professionals of tomorrow. Quentin Sharks dive into learning about the health sciences, from learning about medical professions and skills to discovering and dissecting organisms. Students become the experts. Tres Rios Service Academy salutes our service professionals by getting an up-close look at what it takes to be the careers that are entrusted to protect, serve, and keep us safe every single day. Our LASD Online Academy provides students with an online learning experience, but provides in-person opportunities to grow their collaborative skills. The growth and success in the Littleton District is based on hard work and dedication from our staff and students, but also our community of partners that continue to provide the time, treasure, and talents that allow everyone to not just dream about the future, but to also reach the reality of the future. If you are an entrepreneur, business, individual, or organization that believes in helping each student in our classrooms reach into the future, we'd love to have you become a partner with us today.
So hopefully we can get some more community people connected, but I want to thank Mr. Budsman, who you can hear narrated that, but the whole team and all the people providing support for the work in these videos. I think a lot of communication today in our world happens through videos instead of print media, and so they're doing a great job of putting that out. As the first days of schools are rolling out, our teachers were connecting with families using the Remind app, phone calls and emails to ensure parents and students received essential information such as school start times, uniform guidelines, schedule for the day. Proactive communication has been instrumental in setting a positive tone for the year. It also helped us when we had to delay school because of a power outage, which was really tricky. And I have to compliment the Collier staff. They were principal down to every teacher and every staff member. They were champions that morning in being flexible and supporting everything they could for their community. Country Place had a great opening of the school year. They had leadership lessons and PBIS routines, procedures. Students are excited to return as they'd already started their leadership roles at Collier. The staff is embracing the theme, "There's no place like Collier," and demonstrated exceptional dedication in reaching out to the community, especially as we had the power event. At Estrella Vista, 6th graders held an additional boot camp to ensure parents felt connected and students were set up for success as they enter the middle grades. Over at the Freeman Fine Arts Academy in Quinton STEM, recognized mixed emotions that come from dropping off children at school for the first time. So those two schools hosted boohoo breakfasts for parents and guardians, and people really enjoy that. It's an additional opportunity to connect with families and encourage their involvement on the campus. At Lakeland Prep, staff and students were off to a great start. They were welcomed by new international teacher and some added dual language sections to continue developing their student biliteracy skills and progressing toward their international baccalaureate approval. So we're looking forward to that. In closing, I'd like to express our appreciation to Joseph Lintonneck, a caring individual from out of state, who wrote a check for a donation of $8,000 for programs at the Freeman Fine Arts Academy, and to Rhonda Paris and Lorenzo Sierra for gifting a Summer and Company upright piano in memory of Dennis Cagle to the Freeman Fine Arts Academy. And that is all I have this evening.
Thank you, Dr. Freeman, and we appreciated the 2 videos. At this time, I'll ask that Amy will read the attendance awareness proclamation.
Okay. Proclamation of September as Attendance Awareness Month. Whereas good attendance is essential to student achievement and graduation, and we are committed to dedicating our resources and attention to reducing chronic absenteeism rates with a focus starting as early as kindergarten. Whereas improving attendance and reducing chronic absence takes commitment, collaboration, and tailored approaches to particular challenges and strengths in each community. Whereas improving attendance and reducing absences, I think I've read it, okay. Commitment and collaboration, tailored approaches, and particular challenges in each community. Whereas improving attendance and engagement takes schools, families, elected leaders, and other community partners working together to maintain regular and trusting communications to identify and address barriers to being in school. Whereas we are all committed to creating a culture in which students understand the importance of showing up and engaging in school. Now, therefore, be it resolved that as the governing board of Littleton Elementary School District, I proclaim that our schools will stand with the nation in recognizing September as Attendance Awareness Month. We hereby commit to focusing on reducing chronic absenteeism to give all children an equitable opportunity to learn, grow, and thrive academically, emotionally, and socially, whether it be in person or in a distance learning setting.
Thank you, Amy. Dr. Freeman, do you have anything else for the summary of events that you did not cover?
No, Madam President, that was mine that I read. So
Thank you. So at this time, we're going to turn it over to the Garrison Showcase.
Madam President, Governing Board, first up at the podium tonight, I'd like to welcome Miss Lucy Ito. She has been a dedicated employee for several years and has taken on a task near and dear to her heart, to help adults in our community learn English. We are so thankful for her willingness to plan for and execute classes each week, and I think you will see the pride she takes in this work as she shares highlights from the program. Tonight, she's brought a group of her students to tell you about the amazing work they are doing as they master English as a second language.
Sorry about that. Good evening, Madam President Reyes and esteemed board members, Dr. Freeman, executive team members. My name is Lucina Ito. Everybody calls me Lucy. And I am the language acquisition specialist here at District. I also happen to be the adult ESL teacher here for our community. So, okay, thank you. So, oh, I'm sorry, can we go back to, I'm looking at this one, looking at the wrong one. So I'm gonna take you on a journey of exploring the experiences that our ESL students are on. So I want you to fasten your seatbelts, and we're going to go on a cool journey to take you into the ESL class through the lens of our ESL students. So you're going to see that by offering these ESL classes, we are providing a pathway for community members to access education and career advancement. As a matter of fact, many of them have told me that now they feel empowered to fill out job applications not only online, but in person. So our ESL classes foster inclusion, social cohesion. It helps our non-native speakers connect, collaborate, and feel a sense of belonging within this community. As some of you may remember, I remember seeing some of you at our EL night. Our ESL students were so gracious to ask to be part of that night. So they volunteered to perform, and even though they were so nervous, they did a great job because they want to be part of this community, our larger Littleton community. So in this group, they have now grown to be friends. They socialize together. We even have potlucks, and we celebrate certain customs, like for Christmas and other events. So our program has been steadily growing, but most of all, it's been steady because most of my students have been with me for over a year now. They have remained. I have seen their growth in their English proficiency. They have led them to better academic and social outcomes. Now they tell me they are confident going to restaurants, ordering for themselves, asking for directions, or even going to a store to simply return something. Our program is structured in such a way that it accommodates the working student. So for example, we meet twice a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays, and we have a multi-level approach, meaning I have basic students, intermediate students, they work together, they learn together. My focus is on communication skills. I want to give them the skills to navigate daily life, work, and community. At the end of 23-24, we had a culminating activity for the students. So I drove them to downtown Phoenix and set them off on a goose chase. And literally, that's what the app is called, is goose chase. So I developed some missions for them. And when they arrived, they were off on their missions. They had to not only find individuals, strangers, to speak to, and this was okay to talk to strangers this time, and to go look for certain places through GPS. I was able to tell if they were able to locate these places. Some of them were monuments. And then they had to go to Starbucks and order a drink and also go ask, like I said, for directions. I was sitting at the comfort of Starbucks myself the entire time, navigating and looking at their progress through the app. So not only did it show me where they were, but it would notify me as soon as they accomplished the mission. So it would tell me, they either could upload the pictures, or GPS would tell me, yes, they managed to find that location. So it was a great evening. We ended the year by also getting together and going to dinner together at a very nice restaurant downtown Phoenix. So our classes are not only making a difference here at Littleton, but also far. You're going to hear from Hector Ramos. He started here with us in person, but he had to go back to Colombia. So he wanted to send me a couple of words to share with you guys.
Hello and good evening. My name is Hector Ramos. I'm from Bogota, Colombia. I have been taking English classes with Misito for 1 year now, and she is an amazing teacher. I'm very grateful for this opportunity. Thank you.
As you can tell, he's very nervous, but his English has improved tremendously. He would have never felt comfortable doing that. So also in attendance today, I have a couple of students who want to come up and share in their own words their feelings about our class. Keep in mind, they're extremely nervous, so please be kind to them, as they are my heart too.
Good evening. My name is Perla. I'm a student of ESL class, and I want to say thank you for this opportunity. This program has been so useful and fun at the same time. Here I met wonderful people, and we learned together in a gentle environment.
Good evening. My name is Erika. I appreciate for your support for the ELS class. Thank you very much.
Good evening. My name is Judith. This is my husband, Israel.
Good evening, everybody. We have been taking this course for 1 year. We want to thank you for the opportunity to learn English. We want to thank our teacher, Misito, for having had so much passion. Thank you.
like I said, not only are they learning, but it took a lot of courage for them to come up here and speak to you all. But I didn't have to twist their arm or anything. They really wanted to come and share this experience with them. So I also wanted to share that beyond our classes, we are reaching our Littleton children. We are empowering our parents to, by allowing them to use, not allowing them, but providing a resource for them. So we have these books called We Both Read, and these are bilingual books. They're both in English and Spanish. So it shows on the left side of the page where the parent reads to them, either in English or Spanish, because now they can have a conversation about books. The child at their level also has the text that now they can read together. And the entire book is made that way for parent, child, parent, child. And now our parents are telling me that they've seen tremendous growth in the reading abilities of their children. As you can see, we have one parent here with her son that would accompany us to class, and he was a beautiful child that would behave and just sit there and read. So thank you very much, and that concludes your journey. So unless anybody has any questions or comments for us.
I don't have questions. I do have comments. First of all, thank you very much for this amazing program. I think there's nothing more beneficial or more complimentary to your program than the students speaking out themselves. There's nothing that shines a light than anyone getting up here and saying how much, and it does take courage. It doesn't matter if you do know English or whatever language. Public speaking is difficult. So thank all of you for coming. Your English was perfect, so we appreciate you.
Magnifico.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
I just want to say for context, in 1 year, you speak English so beautifully. I studied Spanish for 5 years, and I can't say anything.
We need to send her to Querétaro, because as you were talking, they do the same thing to us gringos when we go down there. They drop you off at the store and you have to ask for directions and buy things. The immersion language is very similar to what our people get when they go to the middle of Mexico. And obviously, you know, it's been a great advantage for them. The problem I have when I get back is I'm not speaking Spanish all the time and using it, which makes it hard to keep processing, but great job. Thank you so much.
Thank you, board. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate your support.
This time, there is no call to the public, so we'll move on to agenda item number 9, which is the consent agenda. Does any board member wish to have any item pulled? Hearing none, then I'll ask for a motion, please.
I motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second that.
I have a first and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion will pass. Thank you. We're moving on to item 10. Thank you. And it looks like it's the Freeman Fine Arts Dance Team travel, so we'll turn it over to Ms. Garrison.
Madam President, Governing Board, please help me welcome Ms. Devon Gonzalez to the podium. She is here tonight seeking approval for a travel opportunity for the Freeman Fine Arts Academy dance students. She's going to share with you the details of the trip presented by Educational Performance Tours, which includes travel to Los Angeles to enhance our students' understanding of dance as a performance, which is clearly in line with their focus. Ms. Gonzalez.
Okay, yes, it's on. Can you hear me? Do I need to be a little louder? There I go. Okay. Again, my name is Devon Gonzalez, and I am the dance teacher at Freeman Fine Arts Academy. Did I say that correctly? Okay. I am proposing a dance tour for our 5th through 8th grade dance students. Do we have our second slide up? So when we think about education and the benefits that it have on our students, we think about what they're learning in the classroom and how this can extend outside the classroom. This travel experience can impact their lives in many ways from years to come. At the Freeman Fine Arts Academy, our students learn the elements of movement, choreographic forms. They learn the devices of dance. So these are terminology that I know that you probably do not know, but our students put those into practice every day. Our students also learn the method of putting those into their performances. They perform in front of their peers and outside audiences. With that, they also learn the confidence that goes into performing. They learn how to create meaningful choreography pieces that they put on and they respond to each other. They learn how to evaluate and critique each other's pieces. They also learn how to connect those pieces with meaningful experiences. So this trip that we are proposing is an LA trip. It is a three-night, 5-day trip. It will include going to a dance studio and having a class with professional choreographers. They are able to see a professional stage performance. They will also go to a dinner where they get all dressed up. And then they will perform at Universal Studios. So this coincides with the standards that we also teach at Fine Arts Academy, which is also the dance standards of the state of Arizona. So they are creating, performing, responding, and connecting. So with creating, they're conveying and developing an artistic idea of work. They perform in a realizing artistic idea and interpretation and response. Responding, they understand and evaluate each other's work, which it conveys to the meaning of choreography. And they also connect their work by relating artistic ideas and working and their works and personal meaning that conveys meaning not only to them but the outside world. So the cost of this trip is approximately $670 per person. The way that we are looking to assist the students with the cost of this trip is we would like to get with the PTSA, and we've already been doing different concessions with them for the past couple of years during our dance concerts. So we would like to keep that going, where they would do concessions for us through our concerts, workshops, showcases, and games throughout the year. We also do restaurant fundraisers at Peter Piper. There's also another one that I looked into. Cane's Chicken does one as well for the community. And soliciting individual donations. And then we have a flexible payment plan where the kids can pay monthly. They'll pay a certain amount in order to get it started, and then they pay monthly up until the program or up until we get ready to leave. So the actual date of the proposed trip is March 8th through the 11th, and that is 2025. So they do have a little time in order to get those funds together. So with my experience, I've been doing these type of tours 10 years. And everything that we learn in the classroom, we're able to take it out on these particular tours, and the kids can take what they've learned in the classroom and engage themselves as we go out and learn what it is that we're doing out in another venue. The students learn a new perspective. They learn how to be more confident in themselves. I have also helped students with fundraisers, choreographing so that they can take it out to another venue. And then to see the smiles on their faces is just heartwarming. To see them perform out in some place like Universal Studios is nothing that can be measured. They have just a total new persona of themselves on how they have perceived themselves going into this particular experience, and then it's totally different when they come out of it. So I think this opportunity would be something that would be valued for our students at Freeman Fine Arts Academy, and I hope that it can inspire them and blossom them in order to create art on their own, and not only for today, but for years to come. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there questions or comments?
Oh, we do have a little video.
Oh,
for
I'm
you.
sorry.
Questions.
Well, thank you for the video. Go ahead.
So first of all, thank you for bringing this forward as an option for our students. My first question is March 8th through the 11th. Does that happen to be our spring break, or are we
Yes, it
trying to get
is.
students out of? Okay.
That is our spring break.
That was my biggest question. Thank you.
So they will not lose any instruction time.
When is, I'm sorry, did you have that? When are the funds due?
Usually it is due a month before the trip is actually
Before it actually
taken.
takes place?
So
Okay.
that would be like February, the end of February.
Okay, and about how many students are you looking to take? 'Cause I know you said fifth to eighth grade, but about how many students is that?
They want at least, at the minimum, 20,
Okay,
but the bus fills 55.
okay.
That'd be cool.
I think it's an amazing opportunity.
I'm sorry?
I think it's an amazing opportunity.
Thank you.
Other questions or comments?
No comments, I guess. So a lot of it requires you guys. I guess the question is for staff as admin is, are we going to put any funds forward for them to go towards the program? Or is it going to be you guys have to solely raise on your own without district help?
Oh, you can, come on.
Yeah,
we'll put you on.
that's a question. I mean, is do we have what? That's a question I have for admin. Yes, this is an amazing opportunity, and I went to fine arts, and I was never offered when I was a student there. So this is really cool.
Madam President, members, Sinceros, so we have our signature field trips, and we really haven't put district money into those. We've applied to the Littleton Education Foundation to supplement, offset the cost. So our kids go on numerous field trips through the year. Sometimes there are sponsors and scholarships and other things, but as far as field trips outside of that go, well, actually even including that, they're usually paid for with either fundraising effort or philanthropy. We haven't started picking and choosing which ones we would fund and which ones we wouldn't fund. It's not that the district couldn't put some effort toward that, but you need to come up with some guidelines to decide whose efforts you were going to support. And I would just tell you, like, I could tell Devon's confidence kind of building as she presented. But if you talk to her one-to-one, she is a passionate advocate for dance and for kids. And she went easy on you guys tonight.
Well, this is the first time I've ever done this. I'm
Yes,
like,
it's a little intimidating the first time.
it is.
Well, you've done great.
Thank you.
If there's no more comments, this is an action item, so I would call, did you have a question? No. Oh, so I saw your hand, you must be eager. So at this point, I'll ask for a recommendation.
I move that we, I recommend, I can't speak. I recommend that the governing board approve the Freeman Fine Arts Academy dance students to travel to Los Angeles, California to attend the Los Angeles Dance Tour in March of 2025.
I'll second.
There is a first and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Hearing any nays? Hearing none, the motion passes. Congratulations, have a blast. Take us all with you.
Thank you. We will.
Lots
We'll
of
take
pictures.
Yes.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Next time, we'll have you dance your way up. So we're moving on to Dr. Haid for 301 performance goal outcomes, and this is an information item only.
Thank you, Madam President, members of the board. I'd like to welcome Mr. Brian DeLesio, our Director of Federal Programs and Assessment, to give an overview of our targeted goals that were set during the 23-24 school year. Mr. DeLesio.
Well, thank you. I'm already disappointing as I'm not dancing or have any videos, so I apologize ahead of time for that.
We appreciate that.
All right. President Reyes, members of the board, Dr. Freeman, I would like to provide you with an overview of the school and district goal creation process, as well as the overall results for the goals for 23-24 school year. School plans were developed to address unique needs of each school site. Each campus engaged in the following process to develop their school site integrated action plan, or their IEP. The first step in this process is the comprehensive needs assessment, which is the CNA. Through this process, school leadership and their key stakeholders, teams, collaborate to conduct a rigorous self-assessment of 8 questions around statewide comparison data. The school then rates themselves on the 8 focal point questions. The second step in this process is the root cause analysis, identifying the key factors in the area of our district's guiding principles. Last year, we focused on 3 of the 6 guiding principles. Principle 1, recognizing that every student is a learner with a rigorous, viable, and consistent curriculum with differentiated instruction and mastery of Arizona college and career-ready standards. Principle 4, employing a dedicated and caring staff of highly competent teachers and administration through development and retention, and working in a collaborative manner to provide quality educational experiences for students. As well as Principle 3, recognizing that as partners in education, families are essential to the child's success and deserving of effective communication in a professional and courteous manner. School teams also looked at baseline data from the previous year to help create these meaningful, measurable, and attainable goals to guide and monitor their focus throughout the year. While some schools face challenges in meeting their goals, these experiences have provided valuable insights that will drive our continued growth and improvement. We now have a clear understanding of what the areas that need additional support, and we are committed to refining our strategies to ensure future success. So we'll move on to goal number 1, and actually goal number 1 was split into K3 early literacy and 4-8 math. So we'll start with early literacy. FastBridge categorizes student proficiency into 3 risk levels: low, some, and high. Students classified in low risk are reported to the state as at benchmark and prepared for grade level instruction. Throughout the academic year, students may move between these levels. Data indicates that by the end of the year, more students were on track for proficiency compared to the beginning. This was measured at each school through either an increase in low-risk students or demonstrated a growth from the start to end of year. And this chart here, and I'll explain kind of what you're seeing, it Each cell there, each column, represents a different school, and then the last one there where it says DO is the overall district average for that goal. Teaching staff at each campus received a payout for performance around each of these three goals. So if they attained 80% or higher of their goal, they received a payout of $1,200 per each goal. So again, since we split goal 1, just K3 reading would be $600. If they obtained 70 to 79% of their goal, $1,000, 60 to 69%, $900, and 50 to 59%, $800. And so as you can see here, notably, 8 out of 9 schools achieved at least 60% of their goal. So again, this doesn't represent any particular school in any order. It's just ranked ordered by the results. So you can see there, starting with, we had one school that made progress, but only obtained 20% of their overall goal. Then we had another at 60, 74, 75, then 97, and then the following 4 were made 100% or above their goal. Goal 1 again, so mathematics, grades 4 through 8. Thank you, Jim. Illuminate district benchmarks are utilized to measure growth and predict student performance on the AASA state assessment. These assessments help identify areas needing intervention before students take the state assessment. Dreambox Math, an adaptive and engaging program, integrates curriculum with continuous formative assessments to personalize instruction, build critical skills, and improve achievement for every student, regardless of their learning stage. Schools used either the district benchmarks or Dreambox to measure math progress. 7 out of 9 schools achieved their math improvement goals. So you can see here, there are 2 schools that did not show progress towards their goal. I'll talk about that a little bit later. But as you may know, the schools will be presenting next month and can give more in-depth on the creation of their goals, their results, and what they're doing based on those results. So I believe some of that was just a new process with creating these goals and maybe not measuring the right thing. We did see, and that's something that we'll present in a later board meeting, is looking at our AASA results, which showed some great gains. So seeing this could be a little scary, I think, at first when you see 0%, but I think when schools get an opportunity to present next month, you'll get a much better and satisfying answer than what I'm presenting today. For goal number 2 is organization. Professional Learning Community, or PLCs, is a group of educators that meets regularly to share expertise and collaborate with the goal of improving teaching skills and student academic performance. PLCs work towards common objectives to enhance student learning, fostering a collaborative culture where teachers and staff support one another. The focus is on student learning outcomes and decisions driven by regular use of student performance data. PLCs are committed to continuous improvement, engaging in ongoing learning and reflective practice to identify areas for enhancement. This was measured through pre and post surveys, observation, rubrics, and as you can see here, all of our schools met that goal. And the last one, goal number 3, which is family engagement, chronic absenteeism. The COVID-19 pandemic significantly affected student attendance in schools due to various family engagement issues. Many parents struggled to support their children's remote learning, especially when balancing work from home responsibilities or dealing with the lack of educational resources. Chronic absenteeism, measured as missing 10% or more of school days annually, significantly hinders student learning, causing gaps in knowledge, lower academic performance, and decreased motivation. It disrupts the education, leads to a lack of confidence, and is linked to higher dropout rates. Additionally, it affects social development and can result in behavioral problems, ultimately undermining educational achievement and future opportunities. And again here, all of our schools met their goal. I think if you asked our principals, this might have been our most challenging, but yet most satisfying goal that we had this year. Taking our goal, most schools had a 10% reduction, or the goal was to reduce chronic absenteeism by 10%, and I think all of our schools, except maybe 2, didn't go over 10%. So we saw a large reduction in chronic absenteeism, which is great. Our kids are back in school and they're learning where they need to be. So in conclusion, we've seen significant progress from the majority of our schools meeting their targets. We also recognize the challenges some schools faced. Looking ahead, I want to remind you that at next month's board meeting, individual schools will present their goals and the progress made over the past year. These presentations will offer a deeper look into how last year's outcomes have shaped this year's goals and the specific actions being taken at each school site. Thank you for your continued support as we strive to provide the best educational experiences for our students, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Questions? I just have a comment. I'll be very interested in hearing presentations from whatever those 2 zeros were. Yeah, because that is, you're absolutely right. If I'm sitting here thinking we made no progress, that's, you don't even know how to respond to that. So I'll sit tight until we see the presentation.
Yeah, it's more about how the goal was written and measured. And that was something that we and the principals learned. Won't make that mistake again. So there was definitely progress, and they'll definitely be able to show that. So It's more about the wording of the way the goal was written. Thank you.
Yeah, they had academic progress, but not the way
it was worded.
Like if you look at the growth that comes from the ADE growth comparison, like I don't know if they were, I mean, most of our schools earned all their points in growth scores from the AASA, the way they wrote the goal. It's been a great learning experience, but and I don't know if the board recognized, these are the 3 priority goals that the board wrote the December before for the superintendent. So for 24-25, you gave us the 3 priorities last December. This December, when you set 3 priorities, it'll be for the fiscal 26 year. So that's going all the way from the top of the organization right into the classroom. And so what is different is how they operationalize it. But the priority goals are set at the top of the org chart by the governing board.
And then just one more comment on the one that scored 100% in every single school. Forgive me if I find that means to me that the assessment was, that's interesting. For every school to meet it, that's great. I don't exactly remember the measurement tool, but maybe then it signifies we should make it just a little bit more goal-oriented. If everybody made it at 100%, then we've reached that. So now we need to move perhaps to something a little more difficult. Okay, good. All right. Well, thank you. We appreciate it, and you're welcome to dance back if you would like.
Bad hip.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Did you have a comment, sir?
Oh.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you. All right. I think that was 11. Now we're moving on to the first reading of recommended policy. And is that, it says it's the president's, but okay.
You're the umbrella over each of us who are going to go through the ABCs of policy revisions.
Perfect. So,
and I'm happy to get started.
Please.
So the first one, 12A, is on policy BBA. So we're still working with the School Boards Association policy manual. We haven't completed the crosswalk because of all the other things that we've been working on. What happened in the last legislative session, so this is a recommended change from the policy group at school boards. The legislature passed Senate Bill 1280, which shows up now in 15302 and 15421. And there were several concerns over the course of the session about sex offenders and how they are interacting with government and other things. And so there is a line added, inserted, it's pretty simple, that to be on the governing board, you cannot be on the sex offender registry. And, you know, that might have seemed like common sense at one time, but now it's in your board policy. This is first reading. Be happy to try to answer any questions. If there aren't any, then it'll go to the second reading as recommended.
Any questions? I see none, so we'll move on. It looks like Mr. French.
Thank you, Madam President. I have two policies this evening for first read. First is policy GCF, professional staff hiring. Senate Bill 1558 added ASRS 15509 to this policy. It put a line in this policy that says candidates shall disclose whether they have pled guilty, pled no contest, been convicted, or are awaiting trial pursuant to ASRS 15509. This would include offenses against children, sexual conduct with minor, any crime requiring sex offender registration. A known violation of this statute is a Class 6 felony. So this is first read recommended policy change.
Questions? No. Continue, please.
Madam President, policy GDF, support staff hiring, is an exact mirror of the professional staff hiring.
Okay, thank you. Dr. Haid?
Thank you, Madam President, members of the board. This evening, we have one change in policy, IHA, Basic Instructional Program. While you might notice that there is quite a few markup and underline, most of that is due to some technical language corrections. The only content that changed in the policy is based on House Bill 2779, which amended ARS 15701.2 to increase required instructional time on the Holocaust and other genocides. And this recommendation comes through ASBA and aligns to recently passed legislation, as I stated.
Thank you. Any questions? Hearing none, Ms. Garrison?
Madam President, Governing Board, Policy JFB, Open Enrollment. This change is a result of amending ARS 15816, giving school districts permission to give preferential treatment to military families when it comes to open enrollment. That was the only thing they did.
Okay.
Questions? Yes.
No, actually, I'm reading through the one piece
I had a question when you finish.
So we're going to go back to Dr. Haid.
Yeah, just really quick, with reference to the Holocaust and other genocides, what other genocides, would this include slavery or anything else, or is it just specifically the Holocaust and things of that nature?
Member Barnett, specifically the change to the policy is on the second page. It is letter C, and not 1, but 2 and 3. I don't think they're supposed to be across 2 and 2. So instruction on the Holocaust and other genocides for at least 3 class periods are the equivalent. That's straight out of the legislation. And then instruction on Constitution of the U.S. and the American institutions and ideals on the history of Arizona, including Native Americans. So that is the direction that we have from the School Boards Association.
But it doesn't give a definition of genocides, correct? Or what
No,
other
ma'am.
genocides consist of?
No, ma'am.
Well, that'd be the two groups, yeah.
Oh.
Native Americans and European Jews.
Oh.
It's what they sent us. I can see
Okay.
the look on Rachel's face.
Well, it's confusing.
We don't write the laws.
No, I understand. Thank you.
I guess, could this, during the second reading, could we have further discussion on this item? Because I think when like genocide could be, I could name like 10 genocides that should at least be brought up or taught in our schools. So based on legislation, is it just saying that we're required by law just to teach about Holocaust and Native Americans?
Member Sinaceris, it's a very good point. There are multiple genocides throughout history. However, the specific bill that changed this policy focused specifically on the Holocaust and then reworded about Native Americans. We can certainly bring this back to include more things. However, we will lose the copyright on that, which we've talked about that before. The little circle with the C. So if we add other things, we would just want our legal team to review that. If that was the case, and
Yes, ma'am.
we could talk some more.
Just so I'm clear, while our policy is dictated by, currently, this proposed policy is dictated by legislation, that does not stop our teachers from teaching about other genocides. We're just saying they must teach about these, but they can teach about other ones if they choose.
Member Soshnick, that is correct. And of course, we would teach that in alignment with the appropriate standards associated with each of the grade levels in the social studies section of the grade.
Thank you. Okay. Any more questions or comments? No? All right. Thank you. And now we're going back to you, Ms. Garrison. I think I didn't hear any questions on the open enrollment. I think we're going to policy JHD.
Okay, this policy and the regulations and the exhibits all had the same minor update. The word certified was changed to licensed, where the documents reference medical, mental, or behavioral health professionals. It was the only change that was there. Seeing no questions, I have one regulation. House Bill 2174 amended statutes regarding the ordering and emergency administration of glucagon for students with diabetes. A school district may now obtain a standing order of glucagon in stored doses at individual schools where it could be administered to individual students in an emergency. This updated language in this regulation is presented as recommended by ASBA.
Questions on that? Thank you. Oh, you had a question? Sorry.
No questions, but I just want to make sure that we come back at the next meeting and have discussion regarding Dr. Hates. Before we move on to item 13, I want to make sure that that's...
Referencing the genocides?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just want to make sure we're going to have that discussion at the next meeting.
And you're asking to bring back, just bring it back on the agenda to have open discussion?
Yeah, open discussion.
All right. Is there a concern with that? I mean, I see everybody looking at, I just wanted to make sure.
Madam President, members of the board, I think it would be helpful for me to know exactly the direction that you want to go. For next time or the discussion, I can bring back the standards, the pacing guides for the different grade levels and point out those areas if that would be helpful, as that we currently do. Otherwise, I won't necessarily know what you want to talk about respectfully.
Okay, yeah. I would like to talk about the Israel and Palestine conflict. I think as it relates to that being known as a genocide now, I think a modern day genocide. So I think I would like to have discussion around that, considerably as adding that in there as a genocide, and then also a couple other ones that are not off the top of my head, but I would also like to have discussion on them. Give me further time to research them.
I think
So you'll bring some ideas?
Yeah.
I think it would be helpful, though, if you could bring what current curriculum or what the teachings, are, so that we at least have some topic of conversation to start, and then from there, depending on, comments or feedback, we can springboard if that's necessary. So I would start with that, and then we can see where that goes.
Thank you, Madam President, Member Senaceris. I'll also bring what is in our standards about current events, because the one that you speak of is not in any of the books that we currently have, but what our stand is and how we teach on current events. Okay?
In addition, can you just get a quick legal opinion? I want our legal team to just kind of weigh in what that thought is and what it looks like, just to make sure if we're going to we stay within parameters. So if you could bring.
There are other laws and guidelines.
I know. I don't know what they are, and I just need to make sure we're not running afoul of whatever those look like. So if you could do that and be able to bring it back, if it's not possible to get a legal opinion, at least put it on the next agenda would be welcomed. Thanks.
Thank you.
All right. I think with that, we're moving on to the ASB political agenda, and we do have a draft of that action item. At this point, I don't know if there's discussion on that draft, and I'll open it up to the board members to discuss as appropriate.
Madam President, there's two things, and so one is, again, picking a delegate, which is associated with the law conference, their delegate assembly. The other is, in the first item, the draft political agenda is redlined. Yeah, that one, Jim. And so if you scroll down, you can see, I think what's confusing is we turn stuff in and it seems like we're doing the agenda, and then it seems like we're turning around and doing the agenda again. So there's a committee at work at the School Boards Association that takes all of the input from districts, meets and decides if they're going to make changes to the overall state document. And that's what members had in their backup material. I think if you scroll through, I don't know that any of these are super controversial. If they are, you might want to discuss them. Otherwise, it's a reflection of the work done by that committee that includes all of the input from all over the state. And I think, but I don't know because I haven't been to school board's delegate assembly, what kind of conversation happens there if there's discussion of this or adoption of other things. I know some members have been there and might be able to let us know how that'll be used.
I think Amy probably has the best perspective.
So what will typically happen is, as the delegates, we meet and we are given this draft of a political agenda. And first we adopt everything and discuss if discussion happens. So first we have to adopt this as the political agenda we're going to talk about. And then if needed, we will go line by line or section by section and discuss and debate, and people will offer amendments to it, and then we will discuss and debate the amendments, and then we'll approve those, and then we go back. And the event, I have gone many years, and it takes a while. The longest, I think, we got there at 9 and we left at 5. The shortest was 4 hours, left by 12. Some districts come, last year, districts came in wanting to revamp the entire thing, and it can get very heated. And sometimes, you know, there's not very much. The hope is that districts submit their priorities, which we've done, and then the legislative committee puts it all together. And then if they've done a really good job and the districts have all given their piece, then it can be a quick, easy process. Other times it's not, because someone will come with something from far left field and want to put it in. But then this document goes to ASBA's lobbyists, and they know where we stand as an organization, and then they refer back to this if new legislation gets brought up. Like, how would all of ASBA feel about this? And they base their decision and their lobbying on what is in this document.
So it sounds like if there's something in here our board would like to see amended, this would be the time to kind of give direction to their delegate.
Very much so. Or if there's something that is kind of newer in current events or things like that that they feel passionate about, let whoever your delegate is know about that as they're progressing or going towards the delegate assembly. Because one time, my first time in there, they came in and someone told me, well, Littleton would like this. And I looked at it and I go, I personally don't agree with it, but the board had never told me their feelings on it. And I was like, we're just going to abstain, because I know my personal feelings, but you're there to represent as a board.
And when is this assembly again? What's the date?
I think it's the 7th of September.
So it's coming right around the corner.
It is.
So let me ask this,
It's before your next meeting.
yes, but would the board like time just to really review them, then get them back to Ida within the next couple of days? And if she doesn't hear from you, we're assuming that we've agreed to this agenda? Or do you want to have an open discussion about it now? And is there something you desperately don't want to bring forth, or something you do and you do not see in the draft? And who's also going to represent us?
It might depend who your delegate is, how
Yeah.
comfortable they are with that.
Right. So we haven't, I mean, I guess I'll open it up. Is there someone that wants to be the delegate? I know you've done it many times, Amy.
I do enjoy being delegate, but I am also open to, if someone else would like to give up their Saturday to do this, then that is okay as well.
So I've attended in the past, and it's very, I mean, I enjoyed it when I attended. I just, unfortunately, this year I'm not able to attend. I'm going to be at a wedding in Oregon. My niece is getting married, so.
Oh, the old wedding excuse again.
I've also attended a few times. Personally, I don't find it has meaning, so I'm probably not the best person to send. I find everybody just gets in a room and starts arguing, and it goes crazy, and at the end, it's to me, it's not a very diplomatic or political way to really set side of your agenda. That's just me, so I'm not the best person to go. Amy, it looks like you're in. We appreciate you. I didn't see any heads not nodding. So thank you. You always do a great job. We know you represent us well. So thank you for volunteering.
Second.
I will need a second, so I'll make the recommendation that Amy be our delegate, and that is my motion on the floor.
I'll second that.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none. Thank you again, Amy. We appreciate you.
We need to do 13A. So now, this is the part where you want to ask her how comfortable she is with.
If we as a board are pretty comfortable with what this says, I mean, this is pretty much the same thing that gets brought every year. So I'm pretty comfortable with what we currently have here. If you go back tonight or, you wake up tomorrow morning and like, no, I'm really passionate about this, then please let me know and maybe we can have conversations about that.
So at this point, are we moving that the governing board approved the draft and then taking a vote? Is that what we're doing? Okay. So I'll make the motion that we move the governing board approves the draft 2025 political agenda of the Arizona School Boards Association.
I'll second that.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion will pass. Thank you.
Who seconded? Sarah again?
Mm-hmm.
And then
I made the motion.
the B also included the county business meeting. Would we need a separate motion if we want to have separate people?
It was written as one agenda item, so it's,
Okay, just make sure that Amy's good with it, and then we're.
Amy.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, Amy, thank you. We appreciate you. And thank you for taking your Saturday.
Yes.
Yes, Saturday, thank you. All right, at this time, we're going to request a recess to executive session. And the time is 7:15. And I need I made the motion, is there a second?
Second.
I made the motion, he seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, we are now convened into executive session. You're welcome to stay if you would like. Yeah, we may or may not come out and have an action item, so it's really up to whatever your journey is this afternoon. All right, well, thank you for staying. We'll move forward. We don't need a motion, so we're back in open session. And just for information, we are hoping to hold our interviews for the interim superintendent later this month is the target. And with that, if the moon comes out and the world is round, the goal is to hire an interim superintendent in September, which we'll announce it at a board meeting. So that's the plan as it stands right now, and we believe we're on target for that. So stay tuned, and we appreciate you staying. So with that, I'm going to call for a motion of adjournment.
You have number 16.
Oh, any future agenda items?
I have IHA from the earlier discussion.
Yes, that is correct. That was the only thing.
I have.
That is the only thing I heard, that we wanted to have another agenda item for your question.
I guess it's not a request. I just guess it's I know we're doing a lot of things are moving on, but the badge policy, I know maybe we get the chance to discuss that, but it's the revisions to the student badge policy regarding the mental health
We have
standards.
social workers making a presentation at the next meeting.
We did, and
Perfect.
that's why
Thank
we
you.
did and move it
Because I
forward.
consulted with them. and
Yeah, we talked about that, and they'll be giving a presentation. That would be a perfect opportunity for you to
you
share
can go
your
from there.
vision. or-
Perfect,
yeah.
thank you.
Uh-huh.
That
So
was
if there's no
not a
other,
secret.
I forgot. With that, if there's no other items, I'll call for a motion of adjournment.
I move that we adjourn at 8:27.
Second?
Thank you. Any motion? Anyone not want to leave?
All in favor, say aye.
Thank you.
Any opposed?
No, let's go. Thanks.